Welcome time travelers and welcome new time travelers. As always, if you're new to this channel, please hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, come along as we learn something. Today, we're going to start in 1819 and in Europe, when British East Indian Company Administrator Sir Stamford Raffles established the port of Singapore. Moving on to mid-century in 1845, when American author Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven was first published, appearing in the New York Mirror. Melanarchy evocation of his lost love. It became one of the best-known poems in American literature. In 1860, Russian author Anton Chekhov, who was known for his plays and short stories, which often lacked complex plots and neat solution, was born. 20 years later, in 1880, the American actor and comedian W.C. Fields was born in Philadelphia. 6 years later, in 1886, German mechanical engineer Carl Benz patented the first practical automobile powered by internal combustion engine. I actually thought that was Henry Ford, but okay. In 1900, the American League of Professional Baseball Clubs was organized in Philadelphia. On this day in 1919, the Prohibition, or the 18th Amendment, to the U.S. Constitution was ratified and went into effect the following year. 5 years later, in 1924, the first machine for rolling ice cream cones was patented by Carl Rutherford Taylor of Cleveland. For the baseball fans out there, if you were wondering when the first players were honored into the Hall of Fame, then look no further back than 1936, when Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb were among the first players to be elected to Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. In 1964, the British film Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb, a landmark Cold War force directed by Stanley Kubrick, was released in theaters. Moving on to 1966, when Brazilian football American soccer player Romero was one of the most prolific goal scorers in the sport's history, was born in Rio de Janeiro. 2001 brought us Chrysler division of Daimler Chrysler announces plans to eliminate 26,000 jobs worldwide over the next 3 years, while Xerox Corporation says it will eliminate 4,000 jobs to cut costs. On this day in 2002, U.S. President George W. Bush delivered a State of the Union address, described Iraq, Iran, and North Korea as axis of evil for their attempts to develop nuclear, chemical, and biological weaponry. 2002 also brought us Prime Minister Ilham Mehta of Albania unexpectedly resigns his post, and an Archimonus dispute with the head of his Socialist Party. Just 2 years later, in 2004, author Janet Frame, who created a unique body of work that presents perhaps the most recognized voice of New Zealand to those outside her native country, passed away at the age of 79. In 2006, one of the new co-anchors of ABC's World News Tonight, Bob Woodruff, was badly injured by a roadside bomb near Tahiti, Iraq, as was his cameraman. Moving on to 2009, when U.S. Department of Commerce reports that orders for durable goods fell by 2.6%. In December of 2008, while the sales of new homes drops 14.7%, and the Department of Labor indicates that unemployment is continuing to rise. And finally, in 2015, Australian novelist Colin McCauley, best known for her sweeping romance, The Thornbirds, that was published in 1977, and for the Masters of Rome series published from 1990 to 2007, passed away at the age of 77. And with that, we return to 2024 and our current history. Until next time.